Hello, my name is Deborah. This video introduces a series called My EMF Story, or When Your Home Becomes Your Enemy. I made these because the housing organisations involved, my housing association and council, are ignoring a serious health and safety situation. That's electrical wiring issues in my flat that are emitting EMF, causing me to have EHS symptoms, that's electromagnetic hypersensitivity. I hope they will take notice of this. These symptoms prevent me from sleeping often. Once I could not sleep for about 4 days. It's also caused hyperthyroidism, hypothyroidism and anemia. And of course long-term exposure can lead to cancer. When EMF levels are high, I have to leave the flat for hours. As a vulnerable person, I cannot always shelter as I can't stay in my flat a lot of the time. I actually did get COVID and now have long COVID, so being in such an unhealthy environment is not good. In 2017, I had 2 incidents of extremely high EMF that made my body visibly shake and my heart raced so strongly I had to run to get out of my flat. Because of this, I moved out for 6 months. This should have prompted serious investigations, but the housing organisations refused to do any. Instead, they've made half-hearted attempts. The EICR test on my flat's wiring was done, but did not show issues, and the building has also passed this test. However, this test does not show EMF issues. Other tests need to be done on the wiring itself. This is a fact stated by many specialists, so why both organisations insist that EICR tests are valid, I do not know. They also commissioned an EMF survey. The fact that this was done actually shows that they took me seriously. They would not have done this otherwise. That EMF survey had so many issues that anyone would be hard-pressed to accept its findings. For example, no electric field readings were taken. Since there are only 3 types of EMF present in buildings, why the surveyor forgot this is a huge question, and it has proven to be the most problematic of the 3. I got a second EMF survey done myself, which did find elevated levels of EMF and identified the building's wiring as the source, but both organisations refused to acknowledge it. They also ignored medical information, including a GP's letter supporting a move on health grounds. I was forced to go through a complaints process in order to get my issue dealt with by the Housing Association, which was not upheld. The Housing Association and Council have never answered any of my questions about their decisions and often just ignored me, including a petition signed by 25 out of 30 tenants asking for an investigation. My MP has supported me throughout, so both organisations have also ignored her. I'm currently waiting for my case to be dealt with by the Housing Ombudsman in May, so it's now 3.5 years since the problem first started and 10 months since I first asked the organisations to investigate. This is obviously not appropriate for a health and safety issue, including incidents of extremely high EMF that could cause immediate harm. If another one happened so suddenly that I could not get out quickly, I dread to think what could happen. Any electrical problem also increases the risk of fire. I've been forced to investigate this issue myself. That's why the EMF is happening, where it comes from, and why my flat out of 30 is affected the most. After the first episode, I did not do this because I was too scared, especially after those 2 extreme incidents. At that time, I didn't know it was caused by electricity or wiring. I had no clue where it was coming from. When I returned after moving out, the EMF had died down, and I really just tried to forget about it until the levels rose again in April 2020. This time, I could not escape. But I do believe I found the answers, and that's with the input of many people, including most of my 30 neighbours, 11 of whom took EMF readings in their homes, 2 neighbours who are building technicians and one is a trained electrician, 2 other neighbours who did research and gave me advice, and I spoke to 3 EMF specialists and a friend who has a PhD in engineering. I also communicated with a number of electrical engineers on professional forums, and of course I did a lot of research online. So the information I base my conclusions on come from all of this. The cause of the EMF issue in my flat is the protective earth conductor, a wire that collects stray currents from the electrical system and takes them to the earth electrode or grounding rod, then out of the building. There should only be one of these per building. This wire is notoriously easy to be damaged. If the connections loosen or the wire is damaged, it would release these stray currents in its immediate vicinity, my flat. I accept that I could be wrong, but I'm fairly certain that if a specialist in this area looked at all the information and evidence, they would come to the same conclusion. But the only way to actually find this out is by investigating. So I'm asking that my housing association or council please take this seriously and do investigations by examining and testing the wires in my flat. You really need to put an end to this situation, and this is the only way. Okay, thank you for listening.